The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Andrei Kuzmenko, a.k.a. Kuzi. He tore up the West Coast with his smiling banana-loving ways. Now Kuzi's gone Hollywood, so the question is, who do Canuck fans miss more, Andrei Kuzmenko or Kyle Bowen?
Your Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks and also a Canucks writer currently with Daily Hive Vancouver. Before we dive into the show, we got to thank you for tuning into Locked On Canucks because it is your Canucks every damn day. So shout out to you and you for tuning in. And also shout out to my new co-host, tearing up hockey media, Deepak Roberts III.
We back for another one. And Trevor, we're really talking about Canucks fans missing Andrei Kuzmenko. I feel like that's too immature. That's so stupid because this same team with Lindholm last year was, a goal away from taking the Oilers into overtime in Game 7 of the second round of the playoffs, right? You can make the argument if Besser plays that game, the Canucks win. You can make the argument, hey, if Demko plays, the Canucks win. Hey, if Patterson plays, the Canucks win. Right? But hey, Trevor, I got to be a hypocrite just for a bit. If Kuzmenko plays, based on how he's playing against the Oilers, maybe the Canucks win too. Now, 12 months later, 11 months later, Kuzi is having fun playing in the playoffs, and Canucks fans aren't. Talk about it.
Yeah, Andrei Kuzmenko right now, it's a pretty wild stat, but he is second overall, tied for second, I should say, in terms of playoff points with 2 goals, 5 points in 2 games played for the Los Angeles Kings. And, of course, Kuzmenko, he flashed that brilliance. The things you're seeing right now that he's doing with the LA Kings, he showed with the Vancouver Canucks. The fact that when the puck is on his stick in the offensive zone, he can do a lot of things that most other players cannot do. And he's cleaning up some goals from around the blue paint too. It isn't just Kuzmenko being a sniper here, although he does have that in his wheelhouse. But he's shown an ability just to score some greasy goals, despite the fact that his flow is nothing but greasy. So again, Andrei Kuzmenko, one of a few Canucks right now who are making noise right now in the NHL playoffs. And look, I said it before and I'll say it again. I still think, as much as you look at Kuzmenko, what he's doing right now. For Vancouver Canucks fans, they're just thinking, why can't we have nice things? But Deepak, I think you hit the nail on the head. Andrei Kuzmenko, he didn't look like he was going to be a difference maker last year for the Vancouver Canucks. Elias Lindholm in the playoffs was a difference maker. I mean, man, oh man, I was rewatching that Elias Lindholm OT goal last night just to cheer myself up after watching Kuzmenko tear it up for the LA Kings. So look, I don't think Kuzmenko would have had that impact in Vancouver. A lot of people are going to fault Rick Tocchet for that. But look, it didn't work with Kuzmenko in Calgary either. And of course, the run right now in Philadelphia and LA has been pretty darn short. So maybe I'll pose it to you this way, because I do want to talk about some potential free agent options for the Canucks later on in this episode. Andrei Kuzmenko, an unrestricted free agent. I believe most thought he was probably going to go back to the KHL about midway through this season. But after what he did with LA to end the regular season, based on what he's doing in these playoffs, it looks like he's going to stick around in the NHL. Any chance the Canucks circle back? But I think the more serious question is, what is this guy going to get paid when he hits free agency?
Oh, that's a great question. I feel as if it's got to be less than what he's making right now per year. It is what it is. I know the cap is going up, but unless we see this for a couple more rounds, I can't see this guy make more than $5.5 million or $5 million, right? That's got to be the truth. It's got to be similar annual salary for that guy, right? And now to answer your other question, the Canucks bring him back. The obvious answer is no, okay? Because they're going to keep Tocchet. That relationship is sour. People want to think about it, and it makes sense, right? Because the last time Pedersen had fun playing hockey, he had Kuzmenko right by him. And hey, that does account for something, right? It does a little bit or a lot, right? That would puck up any the elite center's ability to love the game to their full potential if their best line mate was kicked out of his line and his team like 40 games into a season or 30 games into a season after he had 40 goals, right? That's obvious. So there's something there, and the connection is there. Like, oh, why don't you make Pedersen happy? Bring him back. But hey, it's not going to happen. Tocchet, and also, doesn't Kuzmenko just look good in Los Angeles? Like, isn't Kuzmenko a Hollywood type of guy, right? No, for real. And to ask you a second question in regards to Kuzmenko and the Los Angeles Kings, if you're a Canuck fan, this is what the league is saying, right? In the offices here in Utah, the head offices, people are surprised. People are surprised that the Los Angeles Kings, they pucked up so bad when they got Pierre-Luc Dubois for 3 roster players and then had to ship him out for Darcy Kemper. Yet here they are, 2 games away from kicking out the Edmonton Oilers. So if you're Canucks fans, things can happen. Things can happen, right? Moving parts. And you never know 12 months from now where your team could be.
Well, I think it's a great point, and I bring it back to what Tyler Meyer said at his end-of-season media availability here in Vancouver. The parity in the league now is razor thin, right? And you can see for the team like the Canucks, they have a few less injuries. Pedersen, is even a second liner, not Philip Deneau. Like, they're probably in the playoffs, right? The margins are that thin in the NHL. And look, even the best organizations make mistakes, right? I think about the Dallas Stars, missing on a guy like Denis Gurianov at 12th overall. But then they nailed some second-round picks. The Tampa Bay Lightning had a horrendous drafting record and made some bad trades. Yet here they are as one of the Stanley Cup favorites right now. So things can change fast in the NHL. But that being said, I think the flip side to that for Canucks fans is look at the teams below them. The Anaheim Ducks should be getting better. For one example, right? I can see the Seattle Kraken being better next year too. Now, of course, those teams don't have a player like Quinn Hughes, but the margins are thin in the NHL, and things can change, right? And that's why, as we get to the other side, we will do a little free agent brainstorm for your Vancouver Canucks, something we'll do throughout the offseason. But, I do look at a guy like Andrei Kuzmenko as well. And yeah, I agree with you, Deepak. I think the relationship is severed in Vancouver. This guy's 39 goals. Then 4 months later, they're trading him out of the city. It was a pretty drastic turnaround for Andrei Kuzmenko. But man, oh man, this team is lacking some skill at the top of their lineup. And Kuzmenko won't be that guy for Vancouver, but I wonder if there's another guy out there like Kuzmenko who could maybe fill in even short term on a contract and boost the Canucks top 6.
Yeah, I mean, based on their cap situation and needing centermen, you got to believe that this time around they convert on a Daniel Sprong-like experiment, right? Sign a guy to a short-term deal, a 1-year deal, and he exceeds expectations. He fits right in. And more specifically, like he connects with Elias Pettersson, right? And again, let's touch more on that, because what type of player can connect with a guy like Elias Pettersson, a sad Elias Pettersson, right? Guy's going to the gym, I know it. Let's see if he can squat 2 plates before September. I hope so. That's what the league offices hope so too. Hey, there's some people around the league offices that think Elias Pettersson has a good chance not to be on the Swedish Olympic roster going into next season. That he might have not burnt a bridge at the what was it called? The World Cup of Extravagance, 4 Nations Trophy Cup Championship a couple months ago. Again, not happy with his performance in Sweden. Who knows what's going to happen? All that being said, what type of player works with Elias Pettersson? That's what they got to figure out. Not Jake DeBrusk, because you got to make this guy laugh too. And just on that note, like, why did Kuzmenko work with him? Because a part of me believes his ability to be loose and not so serious to help Petey out.
Yeah, the Canucks were clearly lacking that this season, right? I mean, you have guys like like Nikita Zadorov who kept things loose. He goes out the door. Ian Cole, good leader, he goes out the door. And you replace him with Vincent Desharnais. And yeah, like you said, Kuzmenko, Zadorov, Ian Cole, guys that did keep things loose, all gone from the Vancouver Canucks. And look, I don't want to say it's a bunch of stiffs in there, but they did need guys to bring some brevity, maybe outside of a guy like Connor Garland to that locker room. And, Kuzmenko was that guy. He was a ton of fun to deal with in the media here as well. But he does belong in Hollywood. I think he's right where he belongs right now. And look, I had the LA Kings at 13th on my list of teams I'm cheering for, but it is hard not to like a guy like Andrei Kuzmenko.
But you get it, right? You get it, right? You get, like, at the time, can we just agree on this? At the time, you make that deal. You make that deal for Lindholm. You got to do it. And he helped out. He really did. And you can make the argument based on how Elias Pettersson played in the playoffs. The Canucks don't beat Nashville with Lindholm. Like, they needed him. They needed another guy down the middle because Pettersson was literally invisible. Like, you thought Pettersson was bad this regular season? Watch him in the playoffs last year. Mikheyev-like on most cases.
Yeah, and I think the one interesting thing to draw a parallel here is, Pettersson's game dropped off pretty soon after Kuzmenko was traded. Now, that being said, Kuzmenko was in and out of the press box. Fourth line, wasn't playing with Pettersson as much in 23-24. But it is interesting that the downfall of Pettersson did coincide with the trading of Andrei Kuzmenko. So Canuck fans, let us know in the comments or wherever you interact with us. Do you miss Andrei Kuzmenko? Do you still wish he was a Vancouver Canuck? Or do you take the opinion of the Canucks made the right deal at the time to try to increase their odds of winning the Stanley Cup? On the other side, let's touch on a couple more free agents who could fit with the Vancouver Canucks this offseason as we brainstorm throughout the next couple of months here. Who could fit on this roster? What cap hit will they sign at? We'll also touch on the Abbotsford Canucks as well and their Game 1 win over the Tucson Roadrunners. You're listening to Locked On Canucks, your Canucks every damn day. We'll be back on the other side after shouting at our friends over at FanDuel. Man, oh man, this is it tonight for my team, the Ottawa Senators. My home away from home. They got to get it done against the Toronto Maple Laughs. Come on, Brady Tkachuk, time for you to get it done. Make your impact on the series. Tim Stützle, where are you, buddy? Let's get it going. And man, oh man, I know when I'm using FanDuel tonight, I'm betting with my heart instead of my head, and I'm placing a few bucks on the Ottawa Senators to get the job done. But whether you're betting on NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs, man, oh man, that Nuggets-Clippers series, oh baby, it's all good fun there. And FanDuel, if you're a new customer, they're giving you an incredible way to get in on the action. Right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. And for my Ottawa Senators, if you're feeling real bold, they are, last I checked, plus 220 on the puck line to win by more than a goal. That's a bold take right there. So make sure if you want to place that bet, don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today.
Boom, bam. We back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks and the rest of the league. Because we're not playing right now. But a lot of former Canucks, they doing their thing. I think if my stats are correct, and I get them straight from the NHL offices, NHL Edge Data, that's what they call it, right, Trevor? Edge Data, APF Analytics. Former Canucks players have accounted for 78% of the goals in the playoffs so far. Now, I don't know if that's 100% true, but a lot of former Canucks scoring goals. And Trevor, from my point of view, it's been a pretty depressing start for Canucks fans. It has. Like, we're lucky. Well, not we're. You're lucky that the Oilers are down 2-0, so you feel good a little. But if I were you, I'd be hurting because again, these ex-Canucks, whether it be Anthony Beauvillier or Andrei Kuzmenko, are making an impact.
Well, man, oh man, I did pull this stunt on Kyle back in the day, but I'm going to pull it on you right now, D-Back.
Trevor's trivia starts now.
All right, this is some very short-term trivia. Mr. NHL, D-Back Roberts III.
Yep.
Can you name, you just named two of them, but can you name the 6 former Canucks who have scored goals so far in the Stanley Cup playoffs?
Oliver Ekman-Larsson is another one. Adam Gaudette is another one. Right? Oh, no, we already talked about Kuzmenko. Dun, dun, dun.
Two defensemen, I'll
Man,
give you that. No, you're missing
three
two
defensemen, another defenseman. Amonic don't have no goals. Am I tripping here? What? What? Okay, you know what? Talk about it.
4 of 6, buddy. You almost got it. So Nate Schmidt with 2 goals
Oh.
in the first game for the Florida Panthers would be number 5 on your list. Jalen Chatfield scoring the
yeah.
goal for Carolina in their series against the New Jersey Devils. So 6 former Canucks: Kuzmenko, Beauvillier, Gaudette, OEL, Chatfield, and Schmidt have all scored goals. And man, oh man, that's not to mention, when I look at the Minnesota Wild and a guy like Matt Boldy too, a guy that's been a Canuck, shout out to the late great Jason Botchford. He just has absolutely been tearing it up for the Minnesota Wild so far in that series too. So again, one of many draft misses. I mean, every team misses on draft picks, but that is one that does hurt the Vancouver Canucks because I was right there for them too. But
you sound depressed. You sound depressed. I wish you could get over it because the weekend's coming up, and something is telling me that you're gonna have a good weekend. Apparently, you're going out with Kyle. You didn't invite me. I don't know what the hell that's about. Good team building here. You're supposed to be the leader. All that being said, get over it, Trevor. Get over it and think about the future. And the more and more I look at this free agent list coming up for all NHL teams and some of these players, the more and more pathetic it seems. Like if you're not hanging out with your family on July 1st or your girlfriend or your hot girlfriend, right? Dude, you have life twisted, okay, if you're over the age of 30, because nothing's going to be happening. It's not exciting. And if I'm the Canucks, I'm just focusing on 2 guys. Can you guess who those 2 guys are?
I'm going to say Nikolai Ehlers is one.
No, Pius Suter and Brock Besser.
Wow. Deepak Roberts III, his team re-signed Brock Besser and Pius Suter. That's interesting. That's an interesting take there. Maybe elaborate a bit.
Well, again, around the league, there's been a lot of criticism towards a guy like Brock Besser. Don't get me wrong. A bit of an off year this year. A guy who, again, struggles with the noise, right? He did this year. He got way too much from him, okay? And he didn't do what he should have done as a leader in that room. But the more and more you think about it, and the more and more you compare what Brock's done to everyone else in free agency, not named Mitch Marner, and I guess Ehlers, you're like, dude, this team, if they want to make strides or rebound or, throw away the injury excuse, they need good players. They can't take a step back. And people across the league are, thinking that if they don't get Brock, their ability to replace him via free agency is going to be slim, because I don't know who was chomping at the bit to be a Vancouver Canuck this time around. It was cool to be a Canuck 12 months ago, but right now with all this noise, and you got the 2 biggest drama queens and Patrick Alvin and Jim Rutherford having a different podcast episode every week talking shit about this team. You think they want to come here? Quinn Hughes 2 years left. Oh, he might play with his brothers. That's why, Trevor, like this ability to retain those guys that, again, they didn't even trade for assets. It's pretty crucial for a team that hasn't made the playoffs more than 2 times in the last 10 years.
Yeah, I for the most part, I've given up on Brock Besser coming back to the Vancouver Canucks. I think you heard Patrick Alvin allude to it on Monday that Brock Besser will test free agency, and I still think he's going to Minnesota. And again, that's Minnesota connection is out there, but they're a team that needs some more pop in their offense too. They need to be not so top heavy, and they're gonna have the cap space to sign Brock Besser as well. So I think they give him the bag. So Pius Suter to me makes more sense. You have another potential center fill in, give him that $4 million range if you can. And then you have a player who can play up and down your lineup. Now, Deepak, you're right. The free agent list is not sexy, but let me mention one guy who was a slam dunk signing for the Vancouver Canucks, okay? And that signing is Taylor Hall. I know what you're thinking. What the hell is wrong with you?
I like it. I like it.
Taylor Hall, it's a win-win situation because when you bring a guy like Taylor Hall in, he's playing well in Carolina right now. He's fitting seamlessly. He's still showing some speed, some juice for 33 years old. You get him on a short-term deal. It could be a short-term kind of bridge fill-in. A guy who I believe can still play top 6 minutes. And if it doesn't work, you're winning the draft lottery because you have Taylor Hall on your team. So boom, Taylor Hall to the Vancouver Canucks. It makes too much sense.
Wow. Interesting take. Like league-wide data says that, I don't know, Taylor Hall, top 6 guy? I don't think so. Fringe guy, top 7 guy maybe, but Trevor Beggs, man, this team needs help. This team's needs more legitimacy, and that's why I don't think they're going to get it done, but they're going to have a meeting with Mitch Marner. That's going to happen. They're going to court him. They're going to try it. They're going to have to spend the most money. And I know people don't want Patterson and Marner on the same team. That just sounds that, bro. If I was a Canucks fan, wake me up when September ends. No, let me sleep. Okay, for real. But they're going to go big fish hunting. Not a lot of big fishes out there, but yeah, something's got to give. Taylor Hall can't be it, Trevor.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's it, but I do think he's a potential short-term bridge gap for your Vancouver Canucks. And like I said, he's been playing well in Carolina. Look, I mean, that's a speed-first system. Taylor Hall, I still think he still has some wheels. And again, since coming to Carolina, he's putting up some pretty good numbers, all right? 9 goals, 18 points, 31 games, okay? Again, he's a middle six guy at this point in his career. And the Canucks are a team chock full of middle six guys, but that can create some competition too. Heading into the offseason. And like I said, when it doesn't work out, the Canucks are winning the draft lottery. So it's all good.
I got a text message right now. Somebody watching this live. Some of my colleagues over there in the mid east or the southeast. Brad Marchand. Don't be surprised if the Canucks offer the most money on a short-term deal to bring Brad Marchand to Vancouver. Now, why? This guy wants to win. Why? Magic, baby. Reversing the curse. Do whatever it takes in leadership. You look at that list. You can't argue that Brad Marchand is a gamer. And the team needs leadership. The team needs glue guys. And I know there's a history there. But Trevor, if you want to evolve in life, you got to get over shit. Okay? Sometimes I look at your eyes and I see darkness. You know what's on the other side? Lightness. Okay? So get over it, Trevor, and bring Brad Marchand home.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I have a hard time something like that as a Canuck fan. I mean, hey, let us know in the comments. Are you willing to let bygones be bygones and let Brad Marchand be a part of this team? Because I'm pretty sure. Oh, sorry, I just had a little thing in my throat there, man. Brad Marchand to Vancouver. It's something that cannot happen. But what I do know is happening is that we're gonna pause for a break here, get to the other sides. Comments popping off, and I want to touch on the Abbotsford Canucks win in Game 1 of the Calder Cup playoffs. You're listening to Locked On Canucks. Canucks.
What, Trevor? What? I'm taking my time from the NHL head offices. My shift could be, breaking the latest news, and you want to talk about the AHL. I want to talk about how Jamie Benn is somehow, some way, the Dallas Stars don't make it past the second round of the playoffs. They're letting go of Jamie Benn, and he's coming to Vancouver. I want to talk about that, Trevor. The AHL, Jason Krog. You want to talk about Jason Krog for 20 minutes?
Yeah, I might have to mute you, buddy. I'm not sure, man. I was gonna invite you out on Friday, but now I'm not. Now I'm not sure if I'm feeling it. But anyways, we'll cut to the other side. We'll see. We'll see what we talk about, man. Is Deepak versus Beggsy here on Locked On Canucks? Before we wrap up here on Locked On Canucks, we got to shout out our friends over at Monarch Money. Do you ever check your bank account and wonder where the hell did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in. It's your personal CFO, baby, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending all in one place so you stop just managing your money and you start building your wealth. So take control of your finances today with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNHL for half off of your first year. Go save that money and go get it, baby, with Monarch Money.
People. we back doing this, and that's talking about your Canucks. Do us all a favor, and Trevor begs a favor, right? The guy's a father. Hit the like button. See what happens. The show has gone through a lot of turmoil over the last couple of weeks, and Locked On had to spend a lot of money to bring me here. So let's make them some money. Hit the like button. We're just telling the truth because we're being honest. And Trevor, the truth is, man, you want me to talk about the AHL? You want me to talk about the Abbotsford Canucks? Trevor, can we just talk about Jonathan Drouin joining the Canucks on July 18th? Can we talk about that?
No, we cannot, because look, it's the biggest thing in Vancouver right now. Okay, aside from the PAWHL coming to Vancouver, shout out to the new PWHL team in Vancouver. But the Abbotsford Canucks kicked off their playoffs, and man, oh man, half the Canucks team from this year is on this Abbotsford Canucks team. Okay, you might be looking at the next head coach of the Vancouver Canucks in Manny Malhotra down there as well.
Oh.
The goaltender of the future, Artur Shilov, stopping a penalty shot with 38 seconds to go. Okay, you look at the game from last night. Sammy Blais, blaze of glory here in Vancouver. He got a couple of goals last night. Archie Baines, second star of the game with a couple of assists. They win 4-3 over the Tucson Roadrunners. Deepak Roberts, I know, come on. You covered the Utah Grizzlies in the ECHL, man. You got to have a respect from the minor leagues, okay? But when you look at this Abbotsford Canucks roster right now, who are you wanting to watch, if you're watching at all, in this Calder Cup playoffs here?
Honestly, Valentino Martini. And I say that because I'm kind of confident in who DPD is, right? He's like the untapped, or the guy that we didn't think would be a prominent member of the big club ASAP, right? As a former, what was he, a third round pick only like 20 months ago, or whatever the math is. You kind of project him to be here down the road years and years and years and years. But he's going to be good. What if they can also get similar value off a fifth round pick? That was the Rangers, but albeit a fifth round pick, then you're talking about miracles happening, and the Canucks need miracles. And some of the clips I've seen from Valentino Martini II, they showed some promise. And Trevor, I heard that episode you and Kyle did way back when, A Dark Day, when the Canucks traded Miller and then they traded for Marcus Pettersson, and there was just a lot of, who the puck is Valentino Martini III? Who is this guy? Trevor, I'm sorry to believe he's a somebody.
Yeah, and honestly, when I'm looking at these Calder Cup playoffs right now with your Abbotsford Canucks, I'm thinking about, are any of these players going to be full-time players next season, right?
Yep.
And I dropped an episode when I was trying to get you on the show here, Deepak, after Kyle left, about, two guys in particular, Elias Pettersson, who's not in the Calder Cup playoffs, and Atu Ratu, who I believe are going to be full-time players next season. But I'm also looking at guys like Victor Mancini, even a Max Sasson and Linus Karlsson as guys who could potentially be full-time NHLers next season. I mean, Linus Karlsson, gets another bingo in game one. He's been almost scoring a goal a game down there in the AHL. Rick Tocchet compares this guy to Thomas Holmstrom. That's pretty wild. I think the future is bright. The floor has been raised. Again, it's the top end of Vancouver. That's the big issue. But, at the very least, the Abbotsford Canucks are making some noise, and they have a chance to go on a run here, much like the Utica Comets did under Travis Green and Thatcher Demko back in the day.
I don't know about the future necessarily being bright. I don't. Maybe if there's a Calder Cup here and there's more highlights of Valentino Martini doing his thing, and Lecker Mackey can, show glimpses early in the NHL next season that he's a guy, then yeah, maybe the future looks brighter. But right now, I'll just sit with you and say, yeah, the floor has risen. But again, I look at the ceiling. I don't know if I see a bright light there. I don't know yet. But hey, you got to get somewhere, and there's a base there. And again, you're looking at what Alvin and Rutherford, and I'm going to throw Tocchet into this mix too. They weren't able to get Miller and Pettersson to buy in to that team philosophy, right? To that, do whatever it takes to help the team out, the logo out. But I feel as if they've helped everyone else in the organization, whether it be the depth players on the big club or just everyone in the AHL. Like, they're coming to work as pros. They're doing their work. They're a hard team to play against. They're buying in. And that's a beautiful thing. So it goes back to the ceiling thing. Like, the future's bright. Now, to divvy away from the Abbotsford side of things, I've seen a couple more comments, and I don't know if we have any favored, but we keep talking about Matt Barzal. And this is the third straight day we've talked about Matt Barzal. the more and more I think about it, I think it's a guarantee. And the other day I walked into the washroom, right? And dude, I heard somebody talking on the phone in a little stall while they're on the toilet. I had my ear right next to it because that's how you got to work. You got to get uncomfortable sometimes, and I'll do whatever it takes to the fans. And they're telling me that there's a 76% chance. My sources are telling me that Matt Barzal is actually on the block, like really on the block. And considering what Rutherford said about, trading for that piece that they need down the middle, he makes the most sense. And if you add to the ceiling, add to the brightness, I believe, again, we talked about the Los Angeles Kings thing, right? I believe that this team, your Vancouver Canucks, Trevor, can have a complete turnaround in 11 months. I know it's very grim right now, but if they get healthy and they get Matt Barzal, the Canucks will be good.
Operation Get Matt Barzal is on it. And let's touch on one comment about the trade, and I do want to offer 2 cents on it here on Locked On Canucks. So shout out to Greener in the comments saying Horvat and Barzal for Lecker-Mackey, Willander, a first, and whatever else. The Islanders are going to rebuild without Lou. Get her done. Look, I do think bringing Horvat back to Vancouver, he does have a full no-move clause. He's got a young family. Would he want to come back to the organization that he said disrespected him? I'm not sure if I see that happening. But Matt Barzal's a different story. He's got a 22-team no-trade list. Come on, the Canucks are not on that list, man. He's from Coquitlam, baby. Coquitlam. I'm driving to Coquitlam after this recording today, actually.
No way.
Matt Barzal, I could see this happening, man. And, look, when I think about Matt Barzal coming to Vancouver, you think about Tom Willander, the speculation going on there.
Yeah.
I do think that, when you think about Tom Willander right now and trading him, the Brock Faber framework is what stands out to me, right? And for that trade, it was Brock Faber and a first-round pick for Kevin Fiala. Now, you wonder if Tom Willander and a first for Matt Barzal fit the similar framework. Matt Barzal, he's a bit down. Kevin Fiala are trading him at a high at an 85-point season. So maybe that's even a tad of overpayment for Matt Barzal. Matt Barzal's a couple years older as well, but he has the contract security. But I do think a Willander and a first for Matt Barzal is a reasonable deal. It just depends if the Islanders decide to go in that direction or not. I mean, obviously they haven't done it for years, but it seems like now is the time, right? Tank for Gavin McKenna, right?
Yeah.
New York Islanders seem like they're primed to do that if they offload a guy like Barzal.
No, yeah, it's something's going to give there. And Willander and unprotected first, get her done. Get her done. And, now to tie back to the whole Abbotsford Canucks thing, again, people are taking notice. And this is another reason why I say, sign Suter. Sign Suter. I know you don't want to pay your depth guys an immense amount of money, but I still want an elite penalty kill. And I just want intelligence throughout my lineup. Speaking of which, Atu Ratu, Kiefer Sherwood, right? Niels Höglander, Hugh Suter, Betty Bluger. You're starting to feel things there, Dakota Joshua with the full offseason, Connor Garland. Dude, your bottom six is hard to play against. And then you talk about even more of the depth with Valentino Martini III and DPD, right? And I know we got to end the episode, but it's ironic how, and it might be scary because Brock Faber's really good. And I know Kevin Fiala is a little inconsistent when it comes to his effort, but when he's on, he's really good too. A big reason why the Kings are up 2-0 is because of Kevin Fiala. He's really good. Okay? It is what it is. You got to give to give, or give to get, or get to give. We got to get out of here, I know. But Barzal could be that guy. There's some magic. I feel some magic, and people are not so down on the Canucks 2 or 3 days after the horrible press that this team stirred up, because things are changing, things are shifting, and life is life, Trevor. And the last thing I'll say today, Rick Tocchet is signing on tomorrow. I think Rick Tocchett's about to sign tomorrow. Sign tomorrow in Vancouver. Let's end it on that note. If it happens, come back here and be like, holy crap, Deepak Roberts III is carrying Trevor Banks.
Man, oh man, the legend of Deepak Roberts III is growing, and we're getting some comments about you too, man. Is Deepak Roberts III related to Rick James? And also this one from Jay Schro saying Freeman is reporting that Deepak Roberts III is the next coach of the Vancouver Canucks. You're saying that as a false report. Can you confirm, Deepak?
No, I love my farm in Utah, and I'm a family man, Trevor. So I wouldn't, I've learned from you. You pick your family first, man.
What do you got on your farm before we get out of here?
Roosters, crocodiles. Have you ever had crocodiles too?
I know. I actually have not. No.
Okay, man. There you go. Put it in a burrito. You got a crocorito. Yep.
A crocorito. There we go, man. Learning new things here on Locked On Canucks. Shout out to you and you for tuning in to Locked On Canucks. Your Canucks every damn day. We'll be back tomorrow and every day after that, baby, because we're here for infinity. I don't know about Deepak Roberts III, but Locked On Canucks is going to live on.
What?
More free agent target talk, Rick Tocchet talk, Tom Melander trade talk, all coming up here on Locked On Canucks. I'm Trevor Beggs. That guy is Deepak Roberts III. Thanks for joining, buddy. We'll catch you next time here on Locked On Canucks.
Your Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.